Hey everybody, it's Gomedex, and welcome back to another premiere draft of Avatar: The Last Airbender. Without further ado, let's just get back into the set. We're going to grab an incredible Pack 1 Pick 1 rare, Azula, Cunning Usurper, one of the best rares in the set, and it's in one of my favorite archetypes. I think blue-black is probably my favorite archetype. I like black a lot in the set, even if it is kind of objectively one of the weaker colors by performance. It's just a color that I find myself in quite often because I can play Cat Gaugers in that color, and Azula is a great card for the best black deck by far, which is the blue-black color pair. So just grab the Azula here. Incredible rare to start things off with if we can stick to ideally blue-black, but even if we're just in black, she's more than strong enough to splash in off of that single blue pip. For pick number 2, this is a much weaker pack. I mean, it would be pretty hard to get past a rare as strong as Azula. There is a pretty great removal spell here, though, that's perfectly splashable. It only requires a single red mana, so it's flexible as well. It's got a great card type, being a lesson. I like Firebending lesson quite a bit, and more than happy to take it here. Pick number 2. Pick number 3, here's some excellent black removal spells like Sold Out and Heartless Act to go with our Azula and get us deeper into black here. I think we go for Heartless Act for raw efficiency. The Sold Out can deal with like earthbended lands, which the Heartless Act can't if they're too big, because this can't destroy creatures with counters on them, but it can remove like 3 counters from an earthbended land, so it still does something against earthbending, and it's far more efficient against other creatures, being half the mana value, so I think we are supposed to take Heartless Act over Sold Out, but that is a bit of a consideration. I mean, Sold Out does exile, which is excellent, and it hits anything regardless of if it has counters or not, but still gonna go Heartless Act there. Pick 4, some reasonable options like Gran here, going towards blue-black, a nice early game looter. If we play a bunch of lessons, then she could also give us cost reduction, which is pretty good, but she's mainly just a kind of merfolk looter style card. Fire Nation Worship's pretty flexible, it's perfectly fine filler in any deck, being completely colorless, and then Waterbending Lesson's a decent draw spell. I think I'm just going to go Gran here. I think she's good enough to take over the more flexible colorless card there. Pick number 5, June's pretty nice in the blue-black archetype. There's a lot of cards that'll trigger off of drawing 2 or more cards in one turn, like June herself. So she can help you do that by sacking your little expendable 1/1s and stuff for clue tokens, like Corrupt Court Officials. Yep, not a ton else going on in this pack. It's mainly between June and the Airship Engine Room. I think the Engine Room would be a pretty reasonable pick as well, considering we do have a Firebending lesson in this collection of cards here, and we could be splashing around in one way or the other. Black-red splash blue, or blue-black splash red, where either way the Engine Room would help us out mana-wise. It's actually a lot closer than I'm giving it credit for, but I think I'm still going to go for the June. Pick 6, Foggy Swamp Spirit Keeper. This is going to be a nice, easy draft today. You'll love to see it. No pivoting necessary. We get an incredibly powerful Signpost uncommon for the exact archetype that we're trying to draft. Pick number 6. So that is a perfectly solid symbol to, or signal to get into our lane and stick to it here. Pick number 7 now. It's a pretty late Tolls of War as well, but that's not a card I'm super interested in splashing in. I'd probably rather just splash in like Firebending Lesson for more removal if we need it. Although the Tolls of War does synergize with draw 2 cards like Foggy Swamp Spirit Keeper. I could still take it here, not because it's particularly likely to get run, but because the other cards are all just decent filler at best. Yeah, I'll speculate on it, but it's a pretty unlikely speculation. Here's a much better pack, Watery Grasp and Deadly Precision, both excellent removal spells in the set. I think we want to be a lot deeper into black than blue, so I'll take the black removal over the blue removal, but again, both of these cards are quite good. But if we stay deep on black, we stay heavy on black, that means we can run more swamps than islands and much more easily, much more consistently have double black available by the time we're at Azula mana. Not only that, but black has a much better card that cares about the number of swamps you have than blue has a card that cares about the number of islands you have. Swamp Gator, way better than the Waterbending Scroll, although when the pack looks like this, we'll take the Waterbending Scroll anyway. Pick 11. Don't think we'll play either of these, but I suppose this is technically the archetype for Otter Penguin. We are the draw 2 color pair. I don't think I'm going to be excited about either of these. These are both almost definitely going to get cut by the end of the draft, but for now, take an Otter Penguin. Very solid start to the draft here. Certainly like a few speculative picks and a few filler cards, but that's pretty standard for any draft. Oh my god, and we open up an on-color mythic rare. Ko the Face Stealer. 6 mana, 6/6, exile your opponent's best creature. And doesn't need to say anything other than that to already be good. But if there are any fun or powerful activated and triggered abilities on the exiled card, you can also steal those by paying a life. Plus, this exiles every other non-token creature that ever dies. So your opponent can't do graveyard recursion stuff if that's relevant. So we'll take Ko. If Ko were not in the pack, this is a very, very good color pair for Messenger Hawk. That card plays super well with Foggy Swamp Spirit Keeper and June and those kind of cards. Pack 2, pick 2. Lowen Lee goes up a lot in value when you have a noble bomb rare like Azula, and we have a noble bomb rare, so I don't mind Lowen Lee. The other on-color cards are all quite filler anyway, so sure, we'll grab Lowen Lee, Twin Tutors. And if we do keep the red splash, then this could be a very solid deck for Lowen Lee, because the other thing that they do that's okay is tutoring out a lesson that deals damage, so that that lesson spell has lifelink. So play Lowen Lee, pick up a Firebending lesson, cast it, you get a removal spell and some life gain attached to that removal spell, if Lowen Lee are still out on the board. Pick number 3, a second Serpent's Pass would be great for the mana. We're low enough on removal to be interested in the Watery Grasp, though, as well. We're on 3 removal spells right now. Technically, it's kind of like 4.5. We have 3 removal spells. We have a 6-mana creature that's removal, and we have Azula. We don't get to choose what Azula kills, but Azula does make our opponent exile a creature off their board. I think I'm going to go for the Watery Grasp. The way this draft has gone, I feel like I can wheel Serpent's Pass. We'll be a little sad if we don't, but those are the only 2 cards I'm super interested in here. Rumble Arena is an okay way to try to get the Firebending lesson, but I do value duels higher. Pick 4, Lost Days is a solid removal spell lesson. It's on color to our main 2 colors. It's 2-for-1 removal, where it like tempo bounces their thing, and then you also draw a card. But there's also Firebending lesson off the splash, which plays better with Lowen Lee, or Combustion Technique off the splash. The problem with taking that is that if we don't get good enough fixing to really want to play the red, then that just gets cut, whereas Lost Days is just not going to get cut no matter what. I think I should take Lost Days, but Lowen Lee is a pretty enticing reason to justify taking the red removal over the on-color removal, but I think just not quite enough for me. Pick 5. Filler, blue and black creatures, the filler vehicle. The River Spirit is a pretty good finisher. And then the one, the only, my love, the Cat Gator. If we took a second Firebending lesson, this would probably be, this would be the deciding pick either way. Where if we took the second Firebending lesson, we now take Boiling Rock Prison and go Grixis, play the full splash. If we don't take the Firebending lesson, we now take the Cat Gator and try not to splash red and run like 10 swamps in this deck. So, because we didn't take the Firebending lesson, I think we are pretty committed now to the blue-black at the core, very deep into black deck. Yet again, kind of my favorite deck in the format. We'll grab a Swamp Snare Trap here, although Barrels of Blast and Jelly's fine as well. Azula Always Lies is a fine, cheap lesson for Gran. We don't have a ton of creatures to be moving the counters around on, but I think Zuko's Exile is just a very bad card, and Warden is tremendously filler for the deck. We do not need more top end like Serpent of the Pass. Pick 8, Easy Corrupt Court Official, plays really well with June. Reasonable early creature no matter what, even without synergy. Pick 9 is nothing. We take the Vindictive Warden here. Pick 10 is nothing. We take Rowdy Snowballers for that curve. Corrupt Court Official and Noble? No, it's an advisor. Dang. Nothing again. Not really a color pair that makes good use of Trebuchet. I highly doubt I want to play 2 Vindictive Warden though, so I'm gonna grab the Trebuchet anyway, just in case we open like the mythic vehicle that makes a copy of itself every time you sack something. I don't know, something like that that really wants us to sack cards. Although, actually, if I'm remembering correctly, that vehicle triggers in your end step. Oh my god, we opened double Azula. What have our polls been today? Our pack 1 had Azula. Our pack 2 had Ko. Our pack 3 has Azula and Badgermole Cub in it. Faded Firepower is good too, as a finisher in your red aggro decks, but my lord. We take another Azula. Anyways, what I was saying about that Black Mythic, the Fire Nation Warship or whatever. No, the Fire Nation Warship's the uncommon. I forget its name, but it makes a copy of itself if you sacked something, and that trigger happens at the beginning of your end step, but then the Trebuchet's trigger to sack itself also happens at the beginning of your end step, so the Trebuchet and the Warship don't actually work with each other without a secondary way to sacrifice your boulders, like June. Pack 3, pick 2. I'm playing much deeper black than blue. We're not going to be playing double blue for Sokka as good as he is, so we just take another low only, although I don't know if that makes the cut, just considering we're going to have a whole lot of top end. I mean, double Azula now, though. 2 low onlys to tutor the Azulas. Some red deck's going to be happy. 2 Faded Firepowers are going to get passed right to them. Very cute. We'll take Waterbending lesson here to help dig to our bomb rares. That looks perfectly solid. In the double Azula Ko deck. Pick number 4, Forecasting Fortune Teller is a great 2-drop for us, and we're a little low on those early creatures, especially if you don't want to count really filler ones like Otter Penguin, which I think we kind of do want to cut here if we can get to it. These have been some absolutely juiced packs in this draft. There's an Avatar Aang flying around as well, for anybody in the green splash around kind of archetype. Pick number 5. Abandon Attachments is another way to try to dig towards bombs, but it may be better to just cut like a very filler Otter Penguin here, because I want to cut Otter Penguin and Warden and Hog Monkey and Trebuchet. There's a lot of early creatures I want to cut. So I may want to just take Master Paku so we can upgrade one of our early creatures to something a little better instead, rather than getting yet another non-creature spell, which I feel we do have a lot of. I'm going to take Master Paku here and get a slightly better early creature there. Katara's a great 3-drop. She's competing with Deadly Precision. That's kind of a hard one. We have Grasp, Precision, Act, Trap, and Lost Days. I mean, double Azula and Ko also killing something when they enter. Catgator killing something when it enters. I think we could use Katara more than another targeted removal spell. When you count all of our high mana creatures, blowing stuff up too. Good Callous Inspector deck. We're like a reasonable Wolf Bat deck, a reasonable Giant Koi deck, but I mean, we're at 25 cards right now, one of which is a land. We still have to cut an on-land card. Probably Azula always lies for this deck. I don't know that we have room for any of these cards. Take a Wolf Bat, I guess. Ooh, I do have room for North Pole Patrol. Just a ramp creature with the amount of good 5 and 6 mana cards we have feels really strong. I guess 5, 6, and 7. Catgator at the very top. So we'll play the Patrol over the Wolf Bat. Probably. Maybe over the Snowballers. Pick 10. I don't believe we'll play any of these. I already cut a bunch of Canyon Crawlers. Not playing any of these. Not playing any of these. And we need to make a tiny little adjustment. This is actually a good Zuko's Conviction deck. The enter the battlefield effects we have in here are absurd. So like if Azula dies, reanimate Azula, trigger the enter effect again, gross. If Ko dies, reanimate Ko, trigger the enter the battlefield effect again, gross. If Catgator dies, reanimate Catgator again, get the enter the battlefield effect again. Gross. Yeah, we're definitely playing Zuko's Conviction in here. Alright, we need some just minor adjustments to the deck and we'll be ready to go. We're on a 17 creature count. This deck does not need a million creatures. We could probably just cut all creatures and be good. We really don't want to run too many islands, so Waterbending Scroll is going to be quite a lot of mana. Probably like 4 mana tap, draw a card, turn over turn. Versus, like, we've got Katara just being basically a much better Waterbending Scroll. Yeah, I think we want to cut Waterbending Scroll and some creatures. Put in some more swamps. Canyon Crawler feels completely unnecessary. I don't mind the swamp cycling, but, you know, just the additional finisher is not required for this deck. I like Wolfbat with the ability to discard it, so it's good with Gran. Everybody else doesn't care too much. I guess it's good with June, but Wolfbat's another pretty filler option that we have in the deck right now. That's about it. You know, we've got some pretty filler 1 and 2 mana creatures, but I don't really want to cut down on those too much. We have a good amount of interaction, but it's not like a huge amount of early interaction because a lot of it is tacked on to these big 5-6 mana creatures. Let's drop the Canyon Crawler and the Scroll. Get that curve a little lower, keep that Wolfbat in there. Put in some more swamps for sure. We'll go 7-11 on the split. 7 blue sources, 11 black sources, so we can have 10 swamps for Cat Gator. Could go 8-9. Cat Gator is still decent with like 9 swamps in the deck. And that would be more consistent because we do have early blue spells. We got 1, 2, and 3 mana blue spells. Okay. We'll go 8-9. Or 8-10 on it. Call it a deck there. Yeah, very excited to see how this one does. So without further ado, let's just hop right into the gameplay here. Here we are on the draw for game number 1. We will keep this. It's got issues if it doesn't hit some mana here, but Gran could theoretically draw and discard cards. And then if we get to the 4th mana, the Waterbending lesson really gets us to the rest of the hand. With enough permanents on board, Katara could theoretically help draw as well. Playing against blue-white. Cycle of Renewal, so blue-white and green. Sacking their multicolored lesson land for double forest. We draw into Wolfbats. Immediately get the Gran Wolfbat combo, feels good. Discard the Wolfbat because it'll come back at some point. And drop the Katara instead. And they pass through. It's all mana over there. I don't have any more 3 mana plays, so I could Waterbending lesson instead of reanimating Wolfbat. I can only do one of the two. I guess it depends what Gran draws here. Maybe Gran draws a 3 mana play for us. We could also decide not to hit them and just tap everything to draw 2, discard 1 here. Gross. Unagi gets our opponent to draw 2. I'm gonna decline to pay and just cast the Waterbending lesson now. Since we've already drawn the 2nd card for the turn, they won't draw any additional cards if we just dump this right now, so we'll get it out of the way while they're not getting value off it. Ditch an island, and we're good. No creature, no creature, no creature. Please. Tap out for like a really weird artifact. Play the 6 mana mythic artifacts so that I can Azula your Unagi. No, a creature. Well, Azuling a Guru is still not that bad. Once again, I don't know if I've ever seen an opponent draw a card off of a Guru, and I have no idea why, because it should not be this hard. My opponents are just so unlucky with the Gurus. Okay. So I'm having a slight problem here, which is that they have Quench mana up. They're only a 3-color deck, so they can absolutely be running Quench. could just low and leave for a second Azula here. If they don't have the quench, then sure, I have double Azula. And if they do, then they didn't get to quench an Azula. Messenger Hawk is the play. Crack the clue. They're doing some digging. So they're going to give us a Messenger Hawk, probably, off of the Azula. Unless they top decked the quench this turn. They did not. Okay, so they could give us a Fortune Teller instead. This might be too slow. The Unagi really crushed us here this game. Yep, we get a Fortune Teller, but we don't have the mana to play them. Ward Waterbend 4. Are they running Shrines to go with Guru as well? They're gonna kick that? Nope, completely unkicked. Go to 9. Water Skin. Foggy Swamp Spirit Keeper. Cool card. Swamp Snare, Messenger Hawk. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 off of the double Firebend. Chump attack to gain 4. Cast these cheaper. I mean, I could just cast them now anyway. Let's just set up a bunch of blockers now that we dealt with the flyer. Okay, they may be out of stuff here. Certainly don't want to draw a card while the Unagi's on their board. Kind of want to Lost Days it here. One, 2, 3, 4. My life-linking Lost Days, let's go. We're looking pretty good. Just the one Lowen Lee plus Azula combo may be enough here. Because now we're getting those life-linking Azula swings in, thanks to Lowen Lee. And our opponent is drawing very poorly, it seems. Now I've got the mana for sure on the bat. We've got the Unagi back. We've got the Heartless Act for it. There's a Zuko's Conviction if Azula dies. If they have an instant speed less, then they could actually counter this removal spell. That'd be pretty good for them. But they do not have an instant speed trigger for the Guru. And that's game. Alright, just a single low and lean to Azula combo was very, very strong for us to hold on to the second Azula just in case, but that was still a commanding lead on the game. Our opponent drew just a ton of lands after the Unagi. Did not have much follow through, so lucky draws for us, and we start things off 1-0 heading into game 2. Here we are for game 2 with a solid start. We got Low and Lee into Azula. Honestly, with 2 Azula and 2 Low and Lee, I would not be surprised if there isn't a single game of Magic today where we don't have access to an Azula in the opening hand. Basically 4 copies of Azula. It's just absolutely absurd. We just want to stay alive for now, so flop that parrot off the board. Well, that's a little awkward. Wouldn't have been super duper necessary to kill it if we knew we had a flyer coming up, but it still has the prowess, so we still wouldn't be able to block any turn they had like open mana threatening to get a prowess trick. There's Ty Lee. There's a Gran. I'd rather Waterbending lesson than Gran here. Draw 3, ditch. Master Paku at this point. And I'm not going to hold up on blocks for multiple reasons. If they get a single prowess trigger, Wolfbat doesn't block anyway, or if they just spend 1 mana, they can stop us from blocking also. So it's basically impossible that Wolfbat will be blocking well next turn. Our opponent Waterbending lessons, jams for 4. Now we Low and Lee into the first Azula. If they hold up the mana, we can wait till 7 mana to play around Quench here. There's a Mechanist for our opponent. Jam in a Ty Lee. Shut off the block. They have exactly Quench mana up. And they pass through. And I got a Zuko's Conviction as well. Okay, now playing around Quench feels unnecessary. If I'm going to have Zuko's Conviction up, too. Right, I've got a second Azula off of the second Low and Lee, and another one off of Zuko's Conviction at instant speed. Okay, they don't have the Quench. So we get Ty Lee, they get to keep the Mechanist. Gives them a bunch of clues and can turn them into flyers. We hit Iguana Parrot, which is not affordable right now. Poke for 2. Play Gran. Yeah, whenever I Zuko's Conviction, I'm gonna want to do it kicked. So let's not hold the 1 mana unkicked Azula's Conviction. I guess it wouldn't be crazy to, right? Because then if they blow up Azula, I could put Azula back into hand and just hardcast Azula next turn rather than Convictioning. But obviously, if their removal is exile removal like Epic Downfall, it's irrelevant anyway. Alright, so the Mechanist has already gotten incredible value here. Double Clue. But we can Cat Gator it away next turn, which is good. Yep, they're even tapped out of Quench, so let's do that. Don't even have to worry about it. They could have Octopus form, I guess. Exactly, Octopus form, gross. It's the only card that would have been affordable for that mana. I'll trade into a Clue with Wolfbat here. Stop their card draw. So Wolfbat just gets to come back in a moment anyway. Accumulate Wisdom? Wow, they are a gross Mechanist deck. Just get to draw 3 on us now. Yeah, this is really gnarly stuff from the Mechanist. It's like their 4th Clue now. Kinda want to just Zuko's Conviction a Cat Gator back at this rate. Get a Grand trigger here, we'll get some chump attacking going. Please kill Lo and Lee. No. Okay, this is fine. They still killed Cat Gator, which is the most important part. If they don't have a second Octopus form, they can't Quench. Okay. Still kill it in game 5. And there we go. They're down to 3 cards in hand, double Clue. I mean, they've drawn a bajillion cards here. Yep, discard more, draw more. Katara now? It's like every card in their deck can draw 20 if it sticks around long enough. Mechanist and Katara both basically infinite card draw. There's a draw 3 there, draw 2, draw 3. Jeebus. It's not good. Got a Watery Grasp for Katara, thank goodness. If I low and leave for Azula right now, I know I can Azula next turn, but also they can still draw another card with Katara next turn. Because I don't have the Waterbending to shuffle her away yet. I kind of think I'm supposed to shuffle her away here. It's really hard to justify not grabbing Azula. They can North Pole patrol around the Watery Grasp as well, so we do have to do the shuffle inability to actually like really use it. They've drawn like 6 more cards than us, and we've drawn some cards here. We've tutored twice with Lonely. We've drawn 3 off a Waterbending lesson. We've drawn off a Grand. Like, for the average game of Magic, we have drawn a lot of cards. And they've still drawn like maybe twice as many as us. So Azula versus Azula is going to be rough here because their Fire Lord Azula, shut up Windows, is very likely to be able to double removal spell us now. So we're going to need another win con here. We're going to need to get to our Co, probably. Because I don't think we're casting anything off this Azula. I think they're attacking with theirs and using her ability to double an instant and just playing 2 removal spells right now. But we still have a lot of really viable draws. We got Foggy Swamp, Spirit Keeper, and Co being the best ways to try to win this game. Tons of removal spells to blow up their Azula. The amount of card draw is insane. Here's another draw 4 now. Down to 7 cards in their library. They've basically got to cast their entire deck against us at this point. Meteor Sword, yep. Here goes Wolfbat. There's a Fire Nation Cadets. June Bounty Hunter. I am pretty desperate. I have 1 less chump if I sack this Inspector, but 1 more draw. And I get to start drawing cards right now. Oh my god. We draw land. It's Professor Zay. Katara. Meteor Sword on Cadets. Jam. Double Firebending to buff the Cadets. No blocks. Down to 8. Our Qatar is too late. She's been really good earlier, but we don't have the mana to play anything we draw off of her here. I guess I could play a Deadly Precision for 1. Unlucky. That is not it. Now they just tap a creature, and we're dead. Rough game. Very well played from our opponent. I mean, we can't lie, they fought through 2 Azulas there. But yeah, I mean, the Mechanist was insane that game. I think if we had removal a lot earlier from Mechanist, we might have had a better chance. That Octopus form also played super well, keeping it around to draw a bajillion. But like, if you want to know how they won this game, just look at the deck sizes. We drew a lot of cards this game. We drew a lot of cards, and they drew 8 more cards than us still. Actually 9, because we even shuffled Katara back in, and they still have 8 less cards in deck. Like, they just got to cast their entire library so fast. I mean, Accumulated Wisdom, disgusting. They cast actual factual Ancestral Recall. Yeah, we just couldn't keep up. Even with big 2-for-1 bombs like Azula's, they had tons of like 3-for-1 card draw just popping off turn over turn over turn. All right, gross stuff. That'll be 1-1 heading to game 3. Here we are for game number 3. With a perfectly reasonable opening hand. Certainly not an exciting one, but we keep these. I mean, I guess it's got Low and Leave, so it's got Azula. But as we said last game, I don't think there's going to be basically any opening hand that isn't capable of playing a turn 6 Azula at the latest, because we can Low and Leave into it in the slower hands. First time flyer, perfect target for Swamp Snare Trap. Although we draw into a 3-mana creature, so we'll just play that. Foggy Swamp Spirit Keeper. The curve out is here. See if they allow me to Swamp Snare that. Octopus Form, quickly becoming my least favorite card in the set this draft. Card was absolutely gross last game. And pretty gross in this one. It stopped a lot of damage that turn. Letting them keep the flyer. Low and Leave for an Azula. You better hold up a Quench or Perish. I'll gain a couple life off the Swamp Spirit Keeper here. Or, I guess I'll get 2 free points of damage in. So I should have done that last turn as well. I mean, I definitely should have just to gain the 2. I wasn't like massively worried about it. It's not like a huge misplay to miss out on just 2 points of life gain. But if they were not going to block, then that would have been really good. I don't know why they wouldn't, but they didn't block this turn, so maybe it wouldn't last turn either. What is going on in the swamp? It's like a Fire Nation engine factory or something. Pretty cool. Yep. Probably June, right? June or Callous Inspector. I think I'm gonna give them June. Oh, they get the Swamp Snare Trap no matter what? That's rough. So we get rid of the first time flyer. Man, if our Swamp Snare Trap had resolved on first time flyer, then they couldn't really play the Azula because it'd be the only creature on their board. So I'd Azula their Azula, which would be filthy. Can only play these during my turn, sadly. So I can't Octopus Form protecting Azula after I pass back to them. I guess I could use it right now just to get 1 extra point of damage in case they do have removal that's big enough to kill Azula, but the Swamp Snare Trap is not big enough to kill Azula. So it has to be something else out of their hand. Wow, they're just going to make our Azula smaller. That is so fine with me. Chump attack with her to fire breathe to cast the stuff for cheaper. She's gonna die in a millisecond anyway, so I'm fine with Chump attacking with the Swamp Spirit Keeper to throw an Octopus form at it to save it. Okay, this looks good to me. Again, Octopus form is about to go away forever, so I might as well get 1 extra point of damage. And we'll do it on the Lifelinker, right? Azula 2. Atula. They've still got a lot of cards in their hand here. This is far from over. As we saw from last game. You got double Corrupt Court Official? I mean, even the 1 is pretty good. Because they know I have to discard the non-Azula card, which is probably not a land, based on how I've played. And then it gives them just a 1/1 to exile to Azula's ability. Shall we ever draw the 6/6 Mythic? That is the question. Court official them. Octopus form help any of these attacks? No. So just court official them. Getting rid of an otter penguin. I think I have to wait till I draw a removal to really do anything here. They eat our 2 best creatures, take 3. It's not quite good enough. Callous Inspector's a pretty fine Chump attack, though. We could turn our 1/1 Menace into a 1/1 that they can only block with the River Spirit. And dig for removal at the same time. If they didn't have a Spirit on board, the Chump attack with Inspector would be incredible. But I think it's still worth it. Iguana Parrot. That's not a bad draw with 2 cards in their hand. I'm gonna draw a card first, though. Land. We have found ourselves in a bit of a top deck war. We still have basically 2 bombs to draw. We have Ko, the Face Stealer, and Zuko's Conviction. So basically a third Azula or a Ko that we can top deck. Gotta draw them relatively fast, though we're taking 7 in the sky a turn. Cat Gator would also be a pretty huge draw. Cat Gator would probably be lethal. Just throw Cat Gator at the face and attack with everybody else. It's basically 3 pretty much auto win draws. And then some other very reasonable ones like all our removal spells. Lost Days, Heartless Act, Deadly Precision, Watery Grasp. Crashing Wave, tap and stun some cards. Sure. There's the Watery Grasp. And they scoop them up. And that will be 2-1 heading into game number 4. Alright, here we are on the play for game 4. We've got a Paku, Swamp Snare Trap, and Waterbending lesson early, and our late game has a Cat Gator in the opener. They start with a green-white dual land. Ooh, Master Paku would have won our one loss so far. Master Paku would have won off the mill. So we had 1 or 2 lessons in grave, I believe. We only really need to tap them like twice. Swamp Snare this Momo and keep some damage off of us. Our opponent appears to be like a 5-color deck here. They start with a green-white duel into a blue-black duel. Water Tribe Captain hits the board. Forecasting Fortune Teller is the draw. Should play the draw 3 instead. Find green, and a bunch of swamps. I could have attacked to mill them 1. I wouldn't get any damage in. But there's no reason to hold up Paku on blocks here against these colors. Everything but red. They shouldn't haste in anything. I guess they could Earthbend something off the green. Yeah, Paku could have been a relevant blocker. Like if they played a Toph and tried to attack with a 2/2 land, Paku would hold that damage off, so... It wasn't completely pointless to hold them up. In theory, there are some cards we'd be playing around. Feels a little wild to just Lost Days of Water Tribe Captain here, but could do it and then mill it along with some other cards, which is kind of fun. I could do the same with the Rallier and make sure they don't have a card draw engine soon, and then Cat Gator their next scary card. I think that's fine. Getting basically octopus formed again. That's very fun. What the heck is it with the hexproof today? Hold the 2/2 off or mill them 2? Rather hold the 2/2 off. Take another 5 this turn would be quite dangerous. Alright, well, you can combat Trick Master Paku. If you want to tap out just to activate Captain, that's fine. I gotta slow them down here. Beautiful draw. And we got Cat Gator for the Water Tribe Captain if they don't play anybody else. We have done it. We have finally drawn Ko, the Face Stealer, in our 4th game of Magic. Oh, you know what I just realized? This is our first game we did not see one of our 4 Azulas. Actually, haven't seen any of them in the top 15. So instead we find the Ko this time. Okay, they don't get their Rallier back if they kill this Ko, so I don't really care if they spend 2 cards to kill Ko here. Like a Razor Rings plus Captain damage or something. Yep, allies at last plus trade into Captain is perfectly fine by me. Well, so much for Cat Gator. Yeah, I was gonna say, even if we hit the mana for it, I don't think we're playing it this turn. So Fortune Teller, crack the clue, see if it hits an island for Gran Gran or anything else castable. Alright, not bad. We got everything we need to keep the 1/1s off of us, so we're just chilling here. We're a super, super bomb heavy deck. We got 4 bomb rares to draw into. Well, really 5. 2 Lowenly, 2 Azula, and the reanimation spell to use on Ko. Avatar Destiny reinforcements is now a 2/2. Let's go. Foggy Swamp Spirit Keeper. Sure. Saber-tooth Moose Lion. Well, we are not getting through that now. Or are we? Deadly Precision has arrived. Some unblockable spirits here. Oh, it's buffs are equal to creature cards in graveyard. Okay. I was wondering how it got bigger. For some reason, I thought it was cards in hand or something. Weird. I kind of want a Cat Gator face and then hope to hit like Zuko's Conviction to Cat Gator face again for the kill. That would be fun. But we get to start getting in for 2 damage a turn off of the unblockable spirits now, because I can Chump attack with Gran Gran next turn to get a 2nd spirit. Uh-oh. South Pole Voyager's life gain and a card draw engine. Okay, doesn't work with a non-ally, so at least they don't draw the card this turn. Find a blue. I think I'm gonna Cat Gator face here, really. No spirits on their board. So we just start jamming in with unblockable spirits and Cat Gator the face. Should be a pretty quick clock. Sorry, Gran Gran. Sacrifices must be made. They do have double food token, which does make 8 to the face a tiny bit less appealing. Maybe I'm supposed to kill Voyager instead, so if they draw more invasion reinforcement style cards, they don't draw as much. I think I'm just still going face, though. They have a cycling creature, and I guess they could discard it after the block here. If they just have like a regular combat trick, that's fine. Got no more ways to trigger the Spirit Keeper right now. Corrupt Court Official, you're so bad right now. I feel like Corrupt Court Official could be okay here, because like if they draw an ally, they might not want to play it immediately. Because if they hold it for a turn, they might draw a second ally to use with the Voyager. So then, like, the turn that they try to hold an ally, I just Corrupt Court Official them. That completely counteracts Avatar thing, because it only triggers when enchanted creature dies. Watery Grasp is not going to kill it. All 4 of our Azulas are in the bottom 16 at this point. So they're gonna have a 3/3 and a 2/2 now. Start hitting me for 3 a turn. They have so much food. Is there a lesson in their grave? Yes. 1 lesson in their grave, so they will draw a card. Oh, and it draws even if there's just a creature. I don't really want to shuffle this back when they have a Voyager on board. Unless, like, I'm at the point that I have to do that to stop them from doing something. Because I can always hold that mana up. That was a really good Corrupt Court Official. Really glad I held on to that. We got rid of an invasion tactics that could have let them draw an extra card every single turn with that Voyager. Diligent Zookeeper. Buffs the token. It's technically not a human, just an ally. It's actually pretty good. There we go. Zuko's Conviction for 8 to the face? Or Zuko's Conviction for Ko? Either are pretty great. I think I just go 8 to the face. That should be a 2-turn kill here. Unless they draw another food. I actually have the mana here. I could have hardcast it for 1 to hardcast Cat Gator so that I have a blocker up. But, I mean, I'm gaining another 8. I don't need the blocker up. Alright, there's the concession from our opponent. Kind of weird game of Magic there, statistically. Both Lowenlees and both Azulas were in the bottom 14 there. But we did find that Zuko's Conviction, and I got to win the way I wanted. Which was Cat Gator face and Reanimator for the Cat Gator on the face again. Yeah, alright, weird. We actually did have a game with no Azulas, but our deck has so much power and it's ridiculous. We got to play Ko the Face Stealer as our bomb instead and do a little bit of Cat Gator shenanigans there. That is going to be 3-1 heading into Game 5. Here we are on the play for Game 5 with an Azula opener. Love to see it. Don't start till turn 3, but we're on the play, so that's not that slow. Not a big deal. Firebending student starts things for our opponent. Spirit Keeper or Katara to lead the way. Let's lead Spirit Keeper. It's a slightly bigger blocker. Slightly harder to try to combat trick to death. Needs to be a +3/+3 instead of a +2/+2. Which could matter. There's a green 1-mana +2/+2, but not a +3/+3. Iguana Parrot and pass. Yep, Callous Inspector's the draw, which allows me to double spell here. Perfect. We will do so. Unfortunately, I think our Azula is going to let us play a freaking Firebending student, which does not do anything for us. Just a 1/2. Waterbending lesson, thank goodness. I was hoping something would end up in the graveyard so that Azula can also try to play something from graveyard if they don't kill her immediately. And there we go. Now we'll be potentially recasting a waterbending lesson. Never mind, it's going to be Aang's journey if everything goes well with Azula. Cat Gator's the draw. Yep, we run this out while they're tapped out and at least whittle their board down if nothing else, even if they kill Azula. She 2-for-1s them, kills the Firebending student and pulls removal from their hand, which is well worth it. Let's get a counter on Katara here and jam for damage. They're down to 13. Aang's journey for a swamp for a Cat Gator, if Azula's still around. Fire Nation Cadets. Go to 19. Does feel like Aang's journey for a swamp, but we'll use Azula. Firebending mana. Might as well. And then I guess since we get to play that at instant speed, play the student too before Azula dies. Opponent lines up some blocks. We'll see what the combat tricks are here. Lightning Strike to trade Cadets. And the Lightning Strike into Katara. And the Prowess trigger on the Parrot so that the Parrot bounces off the Spirit Keeper instead of dying. That was not bad for us. They had one more instant, it could have been pretty bad, because then kill 2 of our creatures in that exchange. Barrels of Blasting Jelly. War Balloon. And Aang's journey. Probably just sending a message here. Just prowessing up the Parrot as much as they can. One final gigantic swing at us. Before they perish. I am not 100% confident, but I'm pretty sure Cat Gator kills them here no matter how they play it. They can trump Azula and take 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess technically, if they trump Azula, they're not dead to Cat Gator, but on the current board, that is not the best. without any extra information. Cat Gator to the face, and that is 4-1, heading into game number 6. Okay, here we are on the play for game number 6. We are 4-1 right now. This is a double Azula hand, Azula and Lowen Lee. It could be a little awkward if we don't draw more black sources. We are running quite a few. We're running more black than blue in the deck. But then, like, if they could blow up the North Pole Patrol, we wouldn't have access to double black for Azula anymore. Luckily, that is not going to be the case here. We have hit many black sources. Then we'll be fine however things go from here. Our opponent leads with Waterbender Ascension, so every time that they hit us with a creature, they get a quest counter on it. Once they've done it 4 times, they can potentially start drawing cards every time they hit us with a creature. And this is about to be filthy. Get rid of their only creature on board. I guess Azula isn't casting anything from their grave here, but this still feels super worth it. Just clear their whole board when they have a card that really needs them hitting us to do anything. If we can put them on the defensive, we can turn this Waterbender Ascension into essentially just a mulligan, where it just doesn't do anything. And that looks like the case. They just have Poxbears and Aang's Journey here. So now we know that Azula gets to play a spell from our opponent at worst. And I still have the 5 mana to play Lowenly and pick up a second copy of Azula as a backup. This should be a really terrible spot for our opponent. There's a cat owl. Waterbend 3 to tap something? Let's get the Firebending mana and use it to tap Cat Owl. That looks fine by me. I'm not really playing another Azula right now. Put them to 14. Just play to the board. Get a Wolf Bat down. June an ally? Nope. The Avatar Enthusiast is not super good on our board. Hit a Master Paka. Okay, let's just Lost Days the Owl. Alright, they're over it. That was, to be fair, just a completely absurd curve. We had the ramp card on turn 3 to be able to play an Azula on turn 4 and then follow her up with plenty more creatures. Really, really gnarly stuff. That is 5-1 now, heading into game 7. Okay, here we are now for game 7, 5-1. Another Azula hand, but we do have to play the Lowenly first for this one. So it'll be a turn... I mean, I guess if North Pole Patrol sticks around, it'll still be a turn 5 Azula. There's Yuyan Archers. Discard a spell, please. Thank you. Now Azula would get a creature off the board and a spell out of grave. Should she resolve. This is a really nice interactive hand here. We've got 2 removal spells and a draw spell. If we want... They have the Submersible to slow us down. Sad day. No Lowenly this turn then. Replay the North Pole Patrol, or I can just draw 3 trying to hit a land. To just hard cast stuff from here. I think I'm gonna Waterbending Lesson. So that no matter what they do, even if they like Lightning Strike or North Pole Patrol or something, we should be fine. Which also means I might just discard it. Probably rather discard June still. Agnakella's the land for turn from our opponent. Excellent card in a long game. They get to keep looting off of that. I'm gonna have Azula plus Zuko's Conviction. Here's low on Lee to block Union archers, and more importantly, to cast an Azula next turn. First time flyer. That's it for now. They hold up potential quench mana. I kind of want to just blow up their creatures here. I swear to God. I'm uninstalling Arena the next Octopus form I see. And I still have an instant speed ability for 2 or less of some kind. It's a lightning strike, that's really bad for me. I think if we end up losing this, it was entirely off the back of Invasion Submersible here. The tempo from slowing the patrol down. So it's making it really hard to stabilize. It's just a chump on the flyer anyway. They're tapped out of blue. It's lost days. No, I should have waited till that resolved first. That was loose. Have them draw and discard first and then lost days. But still definitely do it while they're tapped out of blue. Why isn't that land 7? I'm begging you, Gran. Okay. A chump at worst. I do still want to hold off on Azula for one more turn so I can shuffle the Submersible back in first. Jump feels pretty mandatory. Okay, do you have double quench as the final 2 cards in hand? Excuse me, stomach. Jesus. They do not have double quench. So Azula rips the flyer off the board. But they do have the Firebending lesson on Azula to make sure we don't cast their flyer against them. It's okay, we still kill it. Okay. Probably supposed to Conviction Azula right now while they're completely tapped out, and then crack the clue. Feels like it. Did I draw all my lessons now as well? No, I drew every lesson in Noble. Oh, Lonely copy number 2 is so bad here. Okay. Well, I mean, I'm at 6. I think I run her out to give her lifelink as soon as possible. It's a little difficult for them to play around the second copy. Everything in their graveyard is castable, which is nice. They're just going to give us a removal spell, so we don't do anything with her if they don't play any creatures. If she lives long enough for Lowenly to come out, we can at least gain a little bit of life off of the Firebending lesson, shooting our own Azula or something in response to them throwing removal at her. Crack the engine room and draw a card. She does not live long enough. Fyro's demonstration on her. Play an Otter Penguin. Time to ruin opponent's day. Goodbye, Penguin. Alright, now stop having 4 damage burn, please. Allow Azula to remain. I would appreciate it. At least this one got an Otter Penguin at worst. fire sages. I can low and Lee for lifelink and still have the mana to demonstration and pay for a quench. This could be like the hexproof trick, I guess. I think I'm supposed to actually attack. Because I can Iroh's demonstration at instant speed. So they can't really do anything about Azula gaining 4 here. Or I can react to them trying to do something about it. Whereas if I just Iroh's demonstration in the main phase and they have like the hexproof trick, then they get to counter it and stop Azula from gaining any life this turn, because then they have a 4/4 Fire Sages on blocks. Yeah. That was by far the best way to do that. And now we rip the last card out of their hand. Which is a Lost Days. So pretty good one. That does mean we could have killed them a long time ago if I didn't play around Quench. Invasion Submersible is very good against Azula because it puts their creature back into their hand. Yep, that's super good. No unblockable attacks for us either. Land off the top. Crack the Serpent's Pass. Forecasting Fortune Teller. What's cheap enough to cast? Deadly Precision for 1 black, Paku for 1 and a blue. Okay, Paku's not cheap enough. So just hold up Precision mana, just a single black here. Swamp Snare Trap. Not quite enough. So Azula just trades into Fire Sages if I send her in. And she's already got all of her value on the board. We would lose our big life linker. Probably still worth it. Get the Sages out of here before it gets to like 5/5 and bigger. Where it just wins the fight against Azula. They are not gonna take that trade. They're gonna try to get that Sages up to too big for Azula. If they didn't want to take that trade, they could also have like activated Submersible and double blocked Inspector. But then it's like, I get a clue token, they don't get another counter on Sages, so I get why they didn't. Otter Penguin plus Agnakel is a little scary, but again, we have the lifelink from Low and Lee helping us a lot. Land off the top. If I Swamp Snare Fire Sages, they have the mana to make it 0 power still. It'll have a 5th power, but it's -5. So then they just have a 2/1 and a 3/3. They could double block Azula and lose the rest of their board and then keep working on the Sages. I think that's fine. Go to 4. Team Catgator, back at it again. He's somewhere. Catgator's in the bottom 11. Let's find him. Have I played Waterbending lesson yet? Yeah, because I played all my lessons, yeah. So I didn't have one to tutor off Lowenly. That is not bad here. If we get a trigger, they'll die real quick. They're at 4. They really have to think about killing this Inspector then and giving me this Spirit. Now Azula still... Azula only kills 1 creature now. They block with a 3/3 and a 1/2. Yeah, let's just send Inspector. Alright, 1 unblockable damage every turn. 4 turns of this little Spirit token can get there. Another otter penguin. Oh! Disregard previous plan. Acquire cat gators. 6 and 1. We have made it all the way to the final battle here with only a single loss, which kind of makes sense just based on the ridiculous power level of this deck, the ridiculous power level of our draft pod, the packs we opened. It has been a relatively clean path to the finals here. We are 6 and 1 heading into the final boss with 2 rounds in the chamber. All right, here we are for the final boss, what could be our final game of Magic for today if we win it. This hand is sketchy, and then 1 single forecasting fortune teller solves every problem the hand has. The problem is that the hand couldn't do anything till turn 5. It had Deadly Precision for 5 mana as removal, Conviction for 5 mana reanimation, Azula for a 5 mana bomb. Drawing the forecasting fortune teller was incredible, because that gives us something to do on turn 2, it gives us something to do on turn 3, and it gives us a creature to sack to precision to do on turn 4 if we need to. Just completely shores up the early game for us. So really, really, really nice draw. I don't think I could have asked for a better draw there. Here's a Toph. Luckily the 1/3 body is also holding our opponent off pretty well. We can go double creature here. I have no way to draw an extra card towards guaranteeing land 5, so let's just do that. If I had some way to like crack another clue, I'd do that here. Try to lock into turn 5 Azula into turn 6 Lowenly, but we don't have a way to do that. Earthbending lands, as far as I remember, are pretty good against Azula, right? Because if they exile their Earthbending land, it doesn't go under Azula, it goes back to their board. And they also don't have like a creature engraved. They don't have a spell engraved for Azula yet. So I don't mind holding off on Azula for at least 1 turn here to set up a better board for her, like Deadly Precisioning the Boulder, and then I can play the Boulder out of their grave. I mean, I guess this hand can like replay Azula from grave, play a second Azula. It's really not the end of the world if I don't get max value. I'm still going to greed it up here. And the Boulder's kind of scary even with an Azula on our board. Badgermole? Ooh, boy. Okay, well now Azula actually looks pretty good, because even if Azula does hit the Rumble Arena to like where we can't play it, it killed a 4/4, so it'd still be good. 5 toughness here, so they only kill one of these. Alright, so Azula's gonna hit the Pox Bearers almost definitely. That is still fine. And Toph out of the grave. They're a black deck. I doubt Azula sticks around here. But that's when we start doing things like Zuko's convictioning Azula. Corrupt Court Official. Goodbye, Gran. Sorry. You are a good card, but the worst of these options right now. They do have the Deadly Precision on Azula. Cool. Zuko's Conviction and player untapped. 1 more mana total, but I have that 1 more mana here. So I'd rather have the blocker up. Not that it's super relevant, I don't think I'm going to be blocking with her. They exile the Rumble Arena here, they get their trigger and get it back, so that's definitely their better option of the 2 4/4s, but we still deal with a 4/4. Scry to the bottom. I don't think I want to chump Badgermole. I'm going to send the 1 damage in. There's another Badgermole. Lifelink in the Azula. With a second Azula backup. Cool. Well, we outraced super well with lifelink here. So we're chilling. North Pole Patrol's great here. They crack the Foggy Bottom Swamp. Drop a Long Fang, so every time they trade a creature off, they're getting a counter back on the board as well. Pretty solid. Katara is the draw. Good trade with second Azula. Hit the Rumble Arena and a spell from their grave. Ostrich horse it is. I think I play ostrich horse over Katara on this board. Get a 4-2 against the 4/4s. Rocky Rebuke on Azula. Now Katara is the plan to win it. Can actually attack with the horse and untap it still. Make sure their blocks are, or their attacks are rough. Beifong's Bounty Hunters. Very strong card. So now every time one of their creatures dies, they just replace it with a Earthbended land that is just as big. They cannot do that though, or they're just dead. Alright, they're dead. Ooh, when it's a tapped creature, I believe they're still dead. No, they would go to 1. Alright, yeah, that's really good. So yeah, I don't have the mana to Waterbend right now, so I'd have to tap this hit for 6. Low and Lee is the draw. What do I have in the deck Low and Lee can grab at this point? I have Lost Days, which I can't afford, and Waterbending Lesson for 4. I've got 9. So, play a Low and Lee and a Waterbending Lesson here. I can't believe the Bounty Hunters counts itself. Okay. Jesus, that's bad. Guess I can Low and Leave for Lost Days, actually. We can double block a 4/4 and Lost Days another. Unless they top decked perfectly. Hit like removal off the top. Or a combat trick. Get the clue. Secret Tunnel doesn't work when they only have 1 creature on the board, and the lands don't have creature types, so they can't unblockable the swamp. But that card is terrifying. Wolfbat is the draw. I'd rather chump with a Wolfbat than a Lowenly, I guess. Some dead to removal this way, but they're so low on life. I think we have to push damage where we can get it. Obsessive Pursuit, draw an extra card every turn, but take an extra damage every turn. Is really important. A lot of lethal draws. Come on, top deck. That's not one of them. Oh my god. Not a good card to see there. We got one last draw step. That was a huge one. Oh my god. Arena put us absolutely to the wire there, but we got to basically the literal bottom of our deck, so we found Ko to finish that game off. Stressful stuff, but a 7-win run here, 7-1 for this deck. Honestly, that draft pod was completely absurd. I don't think there was anything I did incredibly well drafting or gameplay wise. This was just one of those days where everything really works out for you within the draft. We opened ridiculous stuff. We opened in Azula for really clear direction from pack 1, pick 1 onward, got past pick 6 Foggy Swamp Spirit Keeper, so we knew we could stick to her. And then we opened Ko in pack 2 and Azula in pack 3. Ridiculous, ridiculous draft there. Absolutely incredible deck. I don't think there's a whole ton to say about it. There's certainly a little bit of filler stuff that didn't play like super incredible or anything, but just did its job at filling out the curve at its respective mana values, like Paku didn't do much, June didn't do much, Inspector, that kind of stuff early. But yeah, really can't complain about this deck. Just a pretty free 7-win run on this draft. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and you're interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send some more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. And other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.